different, something we usually don't do. Usually on this show, we go through the scores, see what we got right, what we got wrong. But we're actually going to do a segment to open off the show talking about OU football because it's kind of an emergency situation for us, is it not?
Well, yes, I think emergency fits the. I think that's a very good word to use here. Wow, a train wreck, dumpster fire, all of the cliches you can think of that's negative apply right now. It is a total mess down there.
It's been a long time since somebody has told me this, but I was out, and this is a true story. I was out walking in my neighborhood today, wife and I had on OU. I'm not going to abandon OU. And a guy that I've never spoke to, I've waved maybe at, he stopped me and he goes, "I can't believe you're still wearing that."
Yeah, I
And
mean,
that felt a lot like 1998 when I was a sophomore in high school and I had an OU shirt on and people didn't know what that was. So
you know,
feels
that,
like we're kind of back there.
yeah, and that, having you and I been a huge part of running a sporting goods store, can you imagine the loss of money those OU gift shops are going to take this year with this team? Because if OU football is bad, they don't buy anything down there. So there's going to be stuff hanging all over the place if they don't get this turned around. And it's really bad.
Well, let's get right into it. A question kind of popped up, and we'll get to that one here in just a second. But let's get into it for sure because I don't know where to begin, but we're going to try. Oklahoma now 3-3 has been defeated 55-24 2 weeks ago to TCU, and then 49-0. The unthinkable gets shut out in the Texas game. 49-0 lost to Texas. Oklahoma, the only team in Division I football that did not score a point last week. And this is a team that has been historically one of the best offenses year after year in the country. Where do you start? I mean, if you can identify what is the biggest problem, I don't know that you can identify just one problem. Where do you begin with this?
Well, I was going to let you rant, and then I was going to be the voice of reason here. But since you're asking me right off,
I'll start with this. Let me go over how bad this is in terms of Vegas betting odds, because this is a betting show first and foremost. And this tweet was unbelievable. Bill Connolly from ESPN tweeted this out today. Eddie Radosevich retweeted it. A big Oklahoma media member. The largest underachievement versus the spread in a 3-game span for the last 30 years. Oklahoma is number 5. They've underachieved by 98 points. That's 5th most in a 30-year span since they've been doing this. The article kind of talked about why Oklahoma is favored against Kansas. It's because the line makers can't fathom/keep up with how bad Oklahoma has underachieved. Right. How about this? Largest underachievement versus the spread in a 3-game span for a first-year head coach in the last 30 years. Brent Venables ranks 4th on this list with 98 points underachievement. The other coaches, Turner Gill at Kansas was number 1. Brian Knorr at Ohio. Vic Koenig at Wyoming. And then the 5th place guy was Paul Wolf from Washington State. Of course, the other guys surrounding Brent Venables on this list considered tremendously disastrous hires and were fired.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, can you even, I mean, how do you even put that into context? This is a guy that has a pedigree that was, I mean, he is ready to be a head coach by all intents and purposes, right?
Yeah.
And this is where we're at.
I know. And those guys you just named, I've only heard of one of them. And I'm a big-time college football guy. And Turner Gill is the only one.
Well, Paul Wolf came in at Washington State. He inherited a very bad situation.
Yeah,
I mean, Turner Gill at Kansas, you know what that was.
Well, all of those guys, those are horrible jobs.
Exactly. And that's the other thing that stands out. Kansas, Ohio, Wyoming, Washington State. The number 6 coach on this list was Temple. This isn't where Oklahoma. No. This is not where Oklahoma belongs.
No. Okay. Now, to be fair, and this is one of the only legitimate excuses we have. We played the last 6.5 quarters without our quarterback.
Yeah.
And so that is an excuse that's legitimate because we don't have anything behind him. So we've been outscored approximately 70-7 in the last 6.5 quarters without a quarterback because we cannot move the ball. And if you can't move the ball, you're going to get beat. And you're going to get slaughtered when you don't have a defense. So,
yeah, to answer Dennis's question, the biggest problem short term with Oklahoma right now, their quarterback got a concussion, Dylan Gabriel, and we have literally nobody behind him.
No, we don't. So you go 6.5 quarters with no chance to move the ball. You're not going to beat anybody. You're not. Mm-hmm. So that's part of the problem. We said last Monday on this show, if he didn't play, we had no chance Saturday. And I think because we're OU fans, you never think you have no chance. But if there was ever a game when you didn't have a chance, it was this one. So I throw the Texas game out, but I can't throw the fact they can't compete at all. I cannot throw that out. And then there's underlying questions that I'm sure we're going to get into. You want to get into the quarterback situation first?
Since we brought that up, let's talk about this problem here at quarterback.
Okay.
Oklahoma, listen, if you watched college football last weekend, there were backup quarterbacks all over the country that played. Some of them played very well. Yeah. Some of them didn't play all that well. None of them looked like us. That is 100% fact. Yes. We had the worst quarterback in the country play for us on Saturday. And honestly, I feel terrible for Davis Bevell because he was not prepared by the coaches to play the game. He was given no game plan to excel whatsoever. He is not a good quarterback, fact, but he was given no chance in this game by the coaching staff.
For those of you that didn't watch it, and you've seen Oklahoma, and you know what their offense is. With Dylan Gabriel, they're fine offensively. They're not great as they have been, not as good as they have been, but they're fine. They throw the ball. They're innovative. They can score. They throw the ball downfield. They didn't let this kid do anything. Nothing. Their game plan was run the Wildcat. That's the only way they moved the ball. They didn't allow him to throw the ball. They didn't allow him to do anything. He was just standing there. He was just a figurehead. He was just the quarterback in name only. So they put him in a situation. It was a crime what they did to this kid. Now, let's look at the quarterbacks that they have. This kid was third. First of all, let's back up. There are 3 quarterbacks that are starting for Division I teams right now that Oklahoma had. And this is not Brent Venable's fault. This isn't anybody's fault. The coaching change caused a lot of this. Caleb Williams is starting for USC. Okay, USC's what? Ranked number 6, I think, in the country, and they're rolling. We would be better with Caleb Williams, no question.
Yeah.
Spencer Rattler is at South Carolina. Okay, so we lost him. Not that he's great, but he's better than what we have as a backup right now. And Tanner Mordecai is the quarterback at SMU. He's 150 times better than what we have now.
Yeah.
Because of the transfer portal and all that, these guys are not hanging around. They're leaving. So we didn't lose Mordecai last year. We lost him the year before. But we lost Williams. We lost Rattler. So this staff fortunately came in and could get Dylan Gabriel, who he's a good quarterback. He's not the problem. I don't care what anybody says. He's not the problem.
I think that's very clear now that we've seen the team without him.
Yeah, I
don't think anybody's not liking Dylan Gabriel right now.
Right, he's fine.
Yeah.
He's not as good as what we've had, but very few are. But if you have a good team, you can win with him. He's not the problem. All right. So you get Davis Bevell, who started against Texas. He was the 3rd-string quarterback at Pitt. And he played in the bowl game at Pittsburgh and played very well last year when Pickett got hurt. All right. Then you've got the number one quarterback in JUCO as far as passing yards. I know Texas isn't junior college, but he threw for over 5,000 yards. That's pretty good. The kid knows how to throw the ball. He's a JUCO quarterback. He's third string. Our fourth string guy is a 4-star recruit from Texas who was going to Florida, and then when the coaching change happened here and in Florida, he ended up coming to Oklahoma. And everybody raves about how talented he is. Okay, so there's our 4 quarterbacks. We start a guy and give him 0 game plan to succeed. Is that the best we have to put out there? That is an issue.
This was the first time it became clear to me that Lincoln Riley is much better than a lot of offensive coordinators.
No doubt.
Because now with Lincoln leaving, the thing I hated about it the most is losing Caleb Williams and others, but Caleb Williams was a big one. But this game plan showed me that we really took for granted what Lincoln Riley could get out of a quarterback, because what Riley would do, he would surround the offense and create the offense around the quarterback strengths, right? He didn't just say, well, this guy's not very good, so we'll just do whatever. No, he would say, okay, what are you good at? Okay, this is what you're good at. We're just going to do that. And when they stop it and we have to go somewhere else, maybe you can't execute it. Right. I guarantee you he would have got more out of this quarterback.
Well,
what they did to Davis Bevel could be considered abuse. This was just sad. And this is the first time I watched an OU game since the 90s and looked and felt sorry for the players, because they were given no chance to succeed in the game.
They put him in a chance to fail. He had no other alternative. And when you don't ask the quarterback to do anything, anybody can play quarterback. He was just out there to hand the ball off.
You can't tell me this kid does nothing well. There's something he can do.
Absolutely.
There has to be one thing at least the kid can do.
Yeah. So
it can't be this bad. There's no way.
I know. It was absolutely pathetic.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to say this. If Dylan Gabriel had played, we would not have beat Texas. It's as simple as we would not have beat them. That leads us to the next thing. We're not as good as we have been. We're just not.
But here's the problem. You can listen, after the Kansas State loss, they lost by a touchdown. They battled. It was a very competitive game. Came down to the last possession.
Absolutely.
I walked out of the stadium and people were bitching, and I looked at you and I said, we weren't as good as them.
Not that
Their guys made plays. Our guys didn't.
Right.
They were better than us.
They were.
That's what's going to happen a lot this year.
Yeah.
We're not as talented, and we're going to have to play really, really well to win games.
Right.
And Kansas State playmakers played great, and ours were average. But the last 2 weeks has been a disaster of epic proportions. That went out the window. Yeah. Even with Dylan Gabriel, they would have got annihilated at TCU. They didn't show up.
No, they didn't show up.
They're not playing hard. They're busting assignments. They act like they have no clue what they're doing. The head coach is over there looking like deer in headlights. I don't care what anybody says. He looks like he has no answers for what's going on.
No.
Again, if we went to TCU and got beat 38-24 and played harder, if we went down to the Cotton Bowl and got beat even 45-24, let's say, I would not be panicked, because we're not that good talent-wise. No. I've been telling people that from the start. But why is the team quitting, and why do they not know what they're doing?
That is the big question. They've quit. Now, let's zero back 3 weeks ago. Okay? This is the other mystery to me. The first 3 weeks of the season, they were precise. They were a little shaky on offense. And they struggled just a little bit on offense. Their defense was right where they were. I know we weren't playing great teams. Okay, but these 3 teams that we beat we would not beat now. I'll go there. I don't think we would.
I don't know. I think it'd be closer games for sure.
The way these kids are playing right now, I don't think we would beat them.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Well, listen, I don't think we would beat anybody right now.
No, right now we would not.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't care what anybody says. And I'll argue with this till I'm blue in the face. You don't go to, and I'm going to make this statement too after I say this. You don't go to Nebraska with 78,000 people screaming at you. I don't care how bad Nebraska is, and beat them as bad as Oklahoma beat them if you don't have talent.
Yeah.
They drilled them. And I'm going to say this right now. There ain't nobody going to beat them worse in Lincoln than we did.
Well, I mean, Ohio State, Michigan, teams like that are
They
capable.
play them, though, this year.
Well, I'm just saying there are many teams capable of beating Nebraska like that. But
yes, but nobody else on their schedule will do it.
No.
So I don't care what anybody said. They looked like a complete football team. They went up there and did what a good football team does.
Yeah.
Go on the road in front of a hostile crowd and beat the crap out of somebody.
Yeah.
So when they left there, everybody thought this Oklahoma team is solid. Joel Klatt, who is a commentator for Fox, has a podcast, and he was so high on Oklahoma after that game. The guy knows what he's talking about. He saw them.
Yeah.
They were impressive. He knows Nebraska's not very good, but he saw how they dismantled them.
Yeah.
So what happens? They lose a game, and that's it.
Yeah.
The Kansas State game it was kind of an embarrassing loss because it was at home and it's Oklahoma, but Kansas State played great that night.
Mm-hmm.
It happens, and they got beat. What happened? Where has that team gone?
Yeah.
Because, like you say, when Gabriel was playing at TCU, they were getting the crap beat out of them.
Yeah. Honestly, Gabriel going out at TCU actually made that score closer. And you might think, well, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. TCU quit playing in the third quarter.
They did.
TCU had 55 points in the third quarter and then stopped.
They were
very friendly to us.
They let up, just like Texas did Saturday.
Yeah, Texas could have scored 60 for sure. But if Gabriel would have played, it would have been more like 70-35.
Right.
So, again,
our question is, and I heard another guy today who knows what he's talking about, Teddy Lehman, who played at OU, made the comment that defense for the first 3 weeks of the season, he's a defensive guy, was as solid as he'd seen an Oklahoma team play defense in a long time. And he meant that by the fact they're where they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know, the talent level has changed. We're playing better teams. But suddenly, he now is saying they're not in the right place. They don't know what they're doing. They're blowing coverages. They're lining up wrong.
Yeah.
Why?
Even the Kansas State game they lost, I'm not going to say all the time, but 80% of the time they were right there. They weren't quite good enough at times to make plays. But you can't watch a K-State game and go, wow, they absolutely had no clue what they were doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And now they do. They're blowing coverages. They're not. I mean, people are gashing them. They're running the ball on them, and even the poor Oklahoma teams could stop the run.
Mm-hmm.
Or Oklahoma defensive team. And Teddy Lehman knows defense, and his comment is they're not in the right place. They're lining up wrong. They're doing everything wrong. Why? Why suddenly have they lost their minds on defense? They're doing the same thing. And then a lot of excuses are, well, they got a whole bunch of new players, blah, 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 blah. We're 6 games into the season.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're doing 6 games into the season?
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, it has to be asked, and Mike brought it up almost immediately when we got on the air. Would you go one and done with Venables? What if it meant getting Matt Rule? I don't really know about the Matt Rule thing, but let's examine what's happening here with Venables. And I think I don't think you can answer that question until we see the rest of the season.
Right.
So this looks a lot like the 96, 97, and 98 OU team, the last 2 games I'm talking about.
Yes.
The comparisons are there and they're glaring, and they're not They're not. I mean, it's fair to say it. It is.
You know,
horrific.
Aaron, the 98 team, which was Blake's last year at OU, they read through the scores of those games.
Mhm.
They lost 6. They were 5-6. They were close.
I know.
They didn't get blown out by hardly anybody.
This is
It's far worse. This is the worst since Blake's first year.
It's bad. And John Blake was not ready to be a head coach.
No.
Brent Venables was ready to be a head coach. I mean, Brent Venables' resume is like American Pharaoh versus a claimer, John.
Yeah, there's a huge difference.
But
between
the
Blake
similarities in this are eerie. They're awful. Their
Yeah.
offense is a mess. Once one starter goes out, it all falls apart. You got a former head coach sitting there going, don't worry about it. He needs time. He needs time. Just like Barry Switzer back in the day was saying, don't worry about it. John Blake's going to get going. Don't worry about it. Needs time. It feels so much the same. And again, there's a take going around the OU media right now, and I love 99% of the OU media, but it does make me cringe when they say, you guys didn't experience the 90s, you people that are complaining. That's the exact opposite. I remember the 90s, and I remember what it looked like, and I'm scared because this looks exactly like it.
Yeah, it does. It does, except it is early. Now, okay, this is.
Yeah, well, the difference is this. We've played 3 games. OU's look like a real football game, 3 games, and they haven't 3 games. Blake, they always look like shit.
Do I know?
Blake's teams always look terrible. Always.
And remember, and again, I'm going to keep harping on this. We played 6.5 quarters without an offense.
So this is the key to the Venables question.
Is the key.
The next 6 games, right? Because it's not fair to judge Venables on the season at 3-3 right now.
No.
The next 6 games are the key to the answer to the question. I'm telling you right now, they are going to have to make a change if this continues. They're not going to have a choice.
Now, when you're in a situation, you got to go one game at a time. You can't look at things. So I never thought I'd say this. This is the biggest game in a long, long time that didn't result in any kind of for the record or for the playoffs or anything.
Yeah.
Oklahoma, this game Saturday.
Yeah.
If they can somehow piece it together and win this game Saturday, they can take a deep breath. They got next week off, and then we'll see what happens. And I don't think they beat Kansas. From what I saw the last 2 weeks, I don't think they do. Mm-hmm. I think Kansas will dice them. I think they'll kill them. I don't think they can stop them. Mm-hmm. Now Oklahoma's going to score some points, but we're going to find out a lot this week about them. And I've been sitting around thinking, and I've been in situations where it looks hopeless. And a lot of times, when you don't have any players, it is hopeless. So you sit around and you try to think, what can you do? Oh, you still got players. There's still talent there. There's good enough players to beat Kansas. Okay, we got more talent than they do.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. There's no excuse to lose to Kansas.
No, there's not.
We have much better players.
Right. So today, here's what needed to be done. They didn't need to even put their pads on today. There should have been meetings with him, and then you break up into positions and you talk it out. Mm-hmm. You talk it out. It would have been much more beneficial to do that. I don't know what they did to do that today than anything else. You air it out. You talk to them. You tell them, here's what's left. It's up to you, boys.
Yeah.
You figure it out. We're going to coach you better. We're still behind you. We got a long season ahead of us. If you think it's bad now, you lay an egg the rest of the season and see where it's at.
Yeah.
It's up to you. If you want to toss it in, toss it in. You're done if you do, because we're not going to put up with you anymore. And you just lay it on the line to them, and you let them bitch at you even. You just tell them what's wrong. What can we do better?
Yeah.
To me, that's the best thing you could have done today. You don't need to practice now. You don't need to do that. Air it out. Let them know, you know, what's going on. Because this game is humongous. You know, I'm looking forward to going Saturday. I don't know about you, but I am.
Yeah, in a sense of I really truly believe we're going to know if this is going to work or not by what happens after this. And I'm not even going to judge them on wins or losses, even though they need to get wins. But do they try? And listen, that if the fans, and you and I are the same, are going to the game and thinking about, wonder if they'll try today. That's horrific.
It is.
If we have to question whether the team will show up and try, and it's a fair assessment, that is
It will be
bad.
In my opinion. I can't, even during the Blake era, they tried. They really did.
Most of the time.
They had no coaching. They had no direction.
Yeah.
And they usually put up a decent effort. They just didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
So it was exactly what this team looks like. If you don't know what you're doing on defense, and it's the same starters that have been out there from day one, and you're busting coverages and you don't know where you're supposed to be, you're either defying the coaches and doing exactly what you want to do, no matter what the play call is, or you're poorly coached and you can't think and you can't do what you're supposed to do. And either way is wrong, and you got to make changes.
Yep. And look, Dennis makes a good point. Some coordinators, no matter how much it looks like they're ready, they don't come to fruition as far as a head coach. They don't become great head coaches.
Well, they don't.
And here's the deal. A lot of people in Oklahoma want to get mad at you for questioning maybe he can't do it. A lot of fans. There's no proof that he can. That's where I'm at. And all I can go off are the 6 games I've seen.
Yes. And the results these last 2 weeks are unacceptable.
And a lot of OU fans and some media members too are acting like, well, if you're questioning him, you're not a real fan. And that's crazy.
Oh, you have to question him.
I'm not an idiot is how I would reply to that. I am a real fan. Yeah, I will be in the stadium Saturday at 11 o'clock in the morning when they play.
5-hour drive.
Yeah, it's drive 5 hours for what the 158th time. So don't say that, hey, you're questioning this team. You're not a loyal fan. Bullshit. You know what? I bet we're one of about 60,000 people that actually show up Saturday. I don't expect that.
Depends on the weather.
We'll see. But yeah, another problem, and this could be a problem with Venables. Maybe his style of coaching, it doesn't work right now with these kind of players.
I've wondered, and I was going to get to this
because Rodney's right. The kids now cannot take criticism.
No, and I don't know that he's that way, Rodney, but he's got a lot of hokey rules.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of Mickey Mouse stuff that's really good when you're winning. When you're losing, those goofy little sayings that he has and stuff, you can't fool these kids. You can't fool them. And that shit doesn't fly when you're losing. They'll look at behind your back, they'll go, oh, yeah, it's Mental Monday. Wow, what's that doing for us? And it looks good when you're winning.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're losing, of course, when you're losing, nothing looks good. So
yeah, it's a problem. I do think there's something going on. They're tuning him out, or they're not.
I think so too. They're buying into everything, but they're not really believing it. There's one other thing that I don't really have anything to compare this to, but I think this is kind of interesting. Of the last 4 recruiting classes, okay, which would be all of Lincoln's, I guess, they've signed 106 players. Okay, 106 players in those 4 recruiting classes. 34 guys have transferred. 34 out of 106. That's 1 out of every 3 that you recruited has transferred. And that may be the case everywhere now. I don't have anything to compare this to. Anyway, they only have 50 players left out of those 106. I think that's pretty low. I would have to think that's pretty low. So 50 out of 106 players that were recruited in the last 4 years are left, and only 29 of those are on the two deep roster. That means 21 of the 50 aren't even on the first or second team. Now that suggests we are a little lacking in talent.
So here's the problem. And that is a problem for sure, but here's kind of the rebuttal. There's a lot of first-year coaches probably dealt with worse hands and are doing just fine. That's the problem.
Now,
did they not go after the portal as aggressively as they should have?
Well, their portal players, they don't have any contributors that they got from the portal, with the exception of Gabriel.
So did he not think the portal was that important? And
either that, yeah, that's possible, or he didn't believe in going out and getting these guys.
Well,
you think Oklahoma could get some players?
Is that an outdated thing to think I don't want people in the portal because they left their school and all that BS? Yeah, I think
it is a legitimate question.
Did I say
we got guys from Wyoming, we got guys from Hawaii, we got guys from Tulane, we got third string quarterback from Pittsburgh. So
they didn't get guys.
We didn't exactly go out and get great players. The only players I can think of that we've gotten from the portal since this all started that have really played any is Eric Gray and the quarterback that we have this year.
Mm-hmm.
Can you think of anybody else that's offhand? I can't.
Portal wasn't quite in vogue during Riley's
time.
No,
it just kind of started.
Yeah. Transfer portal is the worst thing that happened, especially when you have a coach that doesn't believe in getting players out of it. And that's why you look at the roster and it's like, we don't have any depth. We're not
and they don't have any depth. Now, that could be a first-year coach mistake that you can correct.
Yes. Okay. Yep.
I think we need to kind of maybe wrap this up by saying, number one, he has coached under 3 Hall of Fame coaches.
Yep.
Was part of the transformation at Kansas State under Snyder. Was part of the transformation at Oklahoma under Stoops. And Clemson wasn't very good when he went there with Dabo. Stoops is in the Hall of Fame, Snyder's in the Hall of Fame, and Dabo Swinney will be in the Hall of Fame. This guy has been around the best. And he knows how to coach. There's no question.
Yep.
Okay. And you said something a while ago, too, about a coordinator somebody did in the chat. If you guys think that Venables isn't in control of that defense, you're crazy. So they're not listening to him. No, it was you'd think a defensive coordinator might not make a good head coach, which is true.
Saying a coordinator in general, if he's great, does not mean he's supposed to be a good head coach, was the comment.
No. Yeah. But if this guy fails, it's not Oklahoma's fault for thinking he could coach.
No, I thought he could coach for sure. Yeah. Listen, I did not know to what degree of success he would have. Right. I told you that. I said, I don't know how good he's going to be. I never dreamed it would be like this. I meant like he might be an 8-4, 9-3 type.
Well, be honest.
Maybe he still will be this year. But
I think if they go 6-6 and kind of be competitive in these last 6 games, he's passed a little bit of a test.
It's enough to give him one more year.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to do that, I think. Yes. I don't see a coaching change coming unless they continue to get beat 50-0 every game. Then there will be some changes. Yeah.
There will be some big changes. Dennis makes a good point here, and this is a problem. He's comparing him to a Kenny McPeak. It's like, throw in a horse. We don't know if he's going to show up or not. Kind of the same. I like
that's very good. And all of this is legit. And there's just, I think the biggest questions are, and again, I keep going back to the Nebraska game, and you have to admit down deep, you thought this team was going to be okay after that Nebraska game.
I thought they would definitely be a 9-3, 10-2 type team.
Right, which is all we were really looking for this year. 8-4 would have been okay if we were playing hard and showing improvement.
Yeah.
What has happened? That's number one. What has happened to where they have dropped off to non-competitive on defense? Now, they obviously were not ready to play at TCU. That's on the coach. Because Oklahoma teams in the past, under Riley and Stoops, have lost tough games and bounced back the next week and played great.
Yeah.
And this team tanked it. And even with Gabriel, had he not got hurt, they weren't going to win that game. And I don't know. But I do think having him on the field Saturday is going to make a huge difference in the entire team.
Yeah, no doubt.
You can't fool kids. You cannot fool kids. They knew the game plan offensively at Texas, and they knew they weren't going to win that game.
Yeah.
They're not stupid. You can't fool these kids. When you come out and all you're going to do is run the ball and you got a quarterback that's a stick back there and all he does is stand there, they're looking around and go, what the hell's going on? They're not even giving us a chance to win this game.
Yeah.
You know? So
Rodney hit it right on the head. He's 1,000, a million, a billion% right, whatever number you want to throw at it. And it's why USC is who they are right now. They attacked the portal. They got great players from the portal, and they flipped just like that.
They did.
You watch that USC team now, they have players all over the field.
They do.
He inherited a horrific roster.
He did.
All their players left too. It didn't matter. He went out and got kids. He went out and got players.
He did. And he zeroed in on the most important position.
This is not
quarterback.
Yeah.
Then he got a great running back. He got the wide receiver from Pitt and filled in with other guys and turned it around. And he's in, his schedule's set up for him well also.
Yeah.
And they're playing very well defensively. And they look great. And
they have players.
They've got them. And that's the thing. You have to have them. You have to have players. On offense, we've got enough. We have enough. We're not great, but we have enough
players on offense. Yeah.
On defense, it is so obvious we are too small and too slow. We're so slow.
But they said all too small. I just have to chuckle. All off season, we're huge. We've gotten so much bigger and so much stronger.
They're still too small though. So
they're weak. They're weak. And
anyway.
Again, Venables didn't go get anybody. And so that's just it. It's like, we're not very good. I don't buy it. We got better players than what they're playing. B, it's 2022. That you can go get whoever you want. Go get them.
Yeah. But again,
if you don't have a backup, go get a backup. If you don't have a lineman, go get one.
That's something that he could have underestimated. And you got to give him a little slack on that. First year head coach, you can underestimate what that portal's all about.
Maybe.
You can.
We'll see.
You can. And here's another thing. Once they got Gabriel, who else wanted to come in there and back him up? Because
that's a problem.
It was pretty well a given he was going to be the head the starting quarterback because him and the offensive coordinator had a history.
Well, and they had no other quarterback.
And they tried to get Casey Thompson to come in. And once they got Gabriel, Thompson went to Nebraska because he didn't want to sit on the bench at Oklahoma.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
listen, the backup quarterback and the offensive coordinator situation, I'm going to reluctantly I'm not going to throw the offensive coordinator in the bus. I mean, it was a horseshit thing that they tried to do Saturday, there's no way you could play a quarterback and not have any idea what to do with him. But again, I'm not forget it. Like if they come out and they look good offensively the next 6 weeks with Gabriel, I'm not going to, even though he should be roasted. I mean,
yeah, I agree.
Okay. I'll just say it once. What they did Saturday was a goddamn joke.
It was.
And some of his play calling, especially Eric Gray's pass, it's one of the worst play calls I've ever seen. And
you know what?
Honestly, go ahead.
if you want to get the credibility of the players, because they knew it was a joke. Those players knew they had no chance to win that game.
Yeah.
You tell them, guys, we screwed up.
To go down there, and in your mind, you thought that was the best way to win. That I have serious doubts about him. But if they rebound, because hey, his offense is going to have to win them games.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm going to reserve judgment on all of them till after this game Saturday. And that doesn't mean they necessarily have to win. That means they got to look good. They got to play their ass off. If they play their ass off and they get beat, okay, that's all right. I can handle it. But if they go down there and get beat 35-7, 35-14, 45-22, something in that, no, that's not good enough.
Nope, agreed. All right, Rodney's asking about UCLA, so let's move on to something else. Final comment I want to make after all this. Brent Venables is my favorite coordinator ever at Oklahoma. I was heartbroken the day everybody ran him out of town. That's right, OU fans. Don't forget, you ran him out of town once.
Yeah.
So don't get mad at me for thinking he can't be a head coach after what we've seen.
That's right.
But there is no coach I've rooted for harder at Oklahoma than Venables. I want this to work. Brent Venables is a great guy. A great guy.
Man. He's a great man.
I'm praying this works. I want this to work so bad. But you can't be stupid at the same time. You have to judge what you've seen.
Yeah.
It's not working. Hopefully he figures it out. Hopefully they figure it out. So I'll leave it at that and let's move on.
Okay.
How about that? Okay.
Good.
All right. We're going to rapid fire the scores and the reactions to the scores this week as we kind of went a little long, but that's okay. We'll start with college, kind of keep that theme going. We're just going to rapid fire. Not going to talk about them all day long, but we'll give our thoughts. Texas A&M almost beats Alabama. Probably should have beat them. 24-20, though. Bama survives. What was your big takeaway from this?
Well, here's another example. You don't have your quarterback, and you're going to struggle. That's the number one team in the nation. They don't have a backup either. Now, put that in perspective. This is Alabama. Bryce Young is there. Who wants to go there? Nobody. They're not going to play. They know it. That's the age of college football right now. Their guy is not very good. And if something happens and Bryce Young doesn't play this week, they're going to get their ass beat by Tennessee. They should have got beat to A&M. The last play of the game, the play call, I don't know whether the quarterback screwed it up. I don't know. But that was a horrible, horrible play call.
Yeah, they choked big time on that one. I don't know if the coach called a terrible play or the quarterback didn't execute whatever he called.
Right.
That was awful. A&M could have beat them for sure.
Yeah.
My only rebuttal is Alabama did win the two games.
They did.
One was on the road, 28-23. Everything looked bad. And the quarterback broke an 80-yard run.
I know. They have players. We don't.
He made a play.
Yeah, he did.
He can make some plays. Our quarterbacks can make no plays. That is what I'm saying.
But what I'm saying is that game wouldn't have been close if Bryce Young had played.
Well, no, he's way better. He's way better.
Right.
Yeah, he's way better. All right, let's move on. Georgia 42-10. They kind of got back into it. What about Auburn? I mean, is that the next?
Good man. That's a good effort. Got them back going again. They're rolling again.
Yeah, but I mean, Auburn's going to have a new coach, right?
I think so.
Yeah, that doesn't look good. There's a lot of losses left for Auburn. Ohio State 49-20 over Michigan State. What about Michigan State? I mean, they're awful.
They're terrible. I've got them ranked and they probably could even be higher, but I didn't have them ranked very high anyway. 5th biggest disappointment of the season.
Yeah, not good at all. Ohio State keeps rolling. We'll see if they can keep it up.
I forgot to mention Texas A&M is the 2nd biggest disappointment of the year.
They're very disappointing as well. Yeah.
Oklahoma's number 1, obviously.
Yeah, Auburn, very, very disappointing as well. Yeah, Indiana covers 22.5-point favorite here, 31-10. Indiana fought them for a long time.
Yeah, right. That was a close game, and that's an indication they're pretty well coached. They could have tanked that game, didn't care, and they gave Michigan all they wanted.
Yeah, JL mentions how much they paid Michigan State's head coach, and Papa Dude has been ranting about that for weeks now. Yeah, he did not agree with that. Talking about Mel Tucker.
Yeah, one good year, you don't do that.
You often wonder if Brent Venables wishes he was still in Clemson, South Carolina, and they were 6-0, and everybody loved him. 31-3. They beat Boston College, and this was a Clemson-like victory.
I'd say down deep, he probably does wish he was there. He's probably making about $2 million at Clemson, making about 4 times that at Oklahoma. But the Tigers are right where they want to be, 6-0. They're rolling, and they're getting better every week.
All right, let's move on here. USC and Washington State. This was a really solid win, I thought, and you kind of mentioned it. I was a little worried about the USC defense in this game. I thought Washington State could kind of test them. It wasn't any problem. 30-14, easy win for the Trojans.
I was impressed by both teams. First time I really got to watch USC much. I thought Washington State, they're better than I thought they were.
They were good.
Their defense is good. And that was a good win for the Trojans, the big ones this week at Utah. And we'll see what happens. But USC's path to the playoffs is right there in front of them.
I think they're going to make it, honestly. I think they look really, really good.
Really, they're solid.
We'll get to the UCLA's situation in a second, though. Oklahoma State, Texas Tech. When these two teams meet, it's always kind of insanity. It's a great game, by the way. Texas Tech backup quarterback puts up 31 on Oklahoma State. That's a first-year coach, I want to point out, at Texas Tech.
He's doing a hell of a job, and that kid is tough as a boot. Oklahoma State beat the snot out of him, and he hung in there. That's a good win for the Cowboys, and they're on their way maybe to the Big 12 championship.
It was a huge win for Oklahoma State because they looked like they could get upset, and they came back. And I like this Oklahoma State team a lot.
Yeah, they're solid.
All right, move on. Tennessee and LSU. Tennessee, my goodness, they went down there and stomped them.
They did.
Super impressive. 40-13. All over the Tigers, and now Tennessee gets to host Alabama.
That's right, in a huge game. What a performance down there. I mean, they throttled them. And the thing about Tennessee that surprised me, defense. Their defense is pretty good. He's got them playing great. The quarterback's really playing well. They made LSU look bad. That was a huge win for them. And what a game that should be this week. I give them a chance. I do. I've got them as the third biggest surprise of the season. And they could be number one for that.
Did you ever think when OU ran Josh Heupel out of town that he would now be having a much better program than OU?
Probably not.
No.
I thought that's another story. But anyway, I'm so happy for him because he's one of my all-time favorites.
Oh, me too. I am as a Tennessee supporter because of Josh Heupel.
Me too.
So, good job. Really excited for him. Hope they get it done, but we'll see what happens there. All right, Ole Miss and Vanderbilt. They got behind early. Ole Miss got behind early, but came back and smoked them.
They're behind 2017 at the half.
Yeah, and
came out and did what a great team does. I mean, what a really good team does. So they're very impressive also.
Yeah. Ole Miss not missing Jeff Levy calling the plays. Just point that out. UCLA 42-32 in a huge game. Huge win for UCLA. Listen, that's 2 big wins in a row for them.
Yeah. They're good. That proved it to me. I didn't think they'd score 42 on Utah.
No, they dominated this game.
They really did. They were ahead the whole game, and they throttled them. That's a big win. I've got them as the number 4 surprise team. I'll go ahead and mention the other 2 because I don't think they're ranked. You got to have Kansas as the number 1 surprise.
Yeah.
And the other one is Illinois. They may be ranked. I don't know. I haven't looked at it, but they're 5-1. Who would have thought Illinois would be 5-1? So I got them 1 and 2, and UCLA's number 4.
Who's 3?
I have them in the top 25.
Who's 3?
3 is Tennessee.
Tennessee, there for surprise. Who's 5?
Well, we haven't got there yet.
Okay. Hold on. All right. Big win. UCLA, USC. That's going to be
a good
game.
Yep.
Oregon and Arizona. This didn't get wacky like we thought. Easy win for the Ducks.
That's a really good win for them. They're getting better every week. Also, suddenly the Pac-12's got 3, and you can't throw Utah out yet. That conference is a little tougher than usual.
Yeah, It looks to be top heavy is what I'll call it.
Yeah,
very much top heavy.
Absolutely.
South Carolina beats Kentucky 24-14. Kentucky was without their quarterback, and that made a big difference. They had trouble moving the ball.
Yeah, they did. And again, they don't have that capable backup either. They couldn't throw it. Had to rely on Rodriguez, and South Carolina had enough defense to shut him down. And I think they missed a field goal that killed him in that span there too. So a good win for South Carolina. They're now 4-2. That surprised me. I didn't know they were quite that good. That's a good win for them. Kentucky's hopes went down the drain.
Yeah, but Kentucky's having a nice little season there, and then that's pretty much over.
They needed that one.
Yeah. All right. Florida State, North Carolina State. North Carolina State wins it 19-17. Florida State going in to win the game through a pick in the last seconds of the game, even though they were in field goal range. I mean, I don't know that North Carolina State's quite as good as I thought they were after.
No, good bounce back for them.
Yeah.
Man, that would have been a big win for Florida State. Big win. But they didn't.
It would have been.
I think they got Clemson this week too. So
they're
going for their third loss in a row, probably because it's in Clemson. So I don't give much of a chance. But a good win for the.
I think that game's in Florida State.
It may be.
99% sure it is. Let me look that up real quick. Yeah, they host Clemson this weekend.
Yeah, I don't think it matters.
We thought Wake Forest would beat Army a lot more than 16.5. They did 45-10. I like this Wake Forest team.
I do too. Very solid, well coached. Oklahoma should have more talent than Wake Forest. They'd beat us like a drum, though.
They totally would for sure. Notre Dame 28, BYU 20. This was a big win for the Irish.
You better believe it. Talk about a good coaching job. They start 0-2. First-year coach loses to Marshall, and they've won 3 in a row. And they beat a very good North Carolina team that beat Miami in the Orange, or not in the Orange Bowl, but in Miami. Mm-hmm. And now they come back and beat BYU. So he's done a great job. He's got them turned around, and they're on their way. And, USC's got to play them too.
That's right. Yeah, all of a sudden that game that we didn't think would be that big of a deal for USC, it may be. And Notre Dame's starting to get it going a little bit.
Yep, they are.
TCU and Kansas, game day was there. This was a hell of a game. End of the day, though, the Jayhawks do fall 38-31. TCU gets a late touchdown and beats them. TCU now undefeated, and they will play Oklahoma State. They host them this weekend.
Huge game. I wouldn't bet against them. They're my 5th surprise team, number 5, TCU. I did not think they would be 5-0.
TCU has been very, very good this year so far. Kansas State.
God.
A team that OU could not stop goes to Iowa State and scores 10, but they win it 10-9. Kansas State beats Iowa State.
Yeah, they want to get the win, and they got it. How about these Iowa schools? Both Iowa and Iowa State are fantastic on defense and cannot score. It's unbelievable.
Iowa State has given up 10, 7, 10, 31. They did give up 31, 14 and 10, and they're 3-3.
Yeah.
And Iowa's even worse than that.
They give up 31 to.
Yeah.
Who'd they give up 31 to?
Baylor.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. 31 to Baylor.
Yeah.
This was a big upset here. The Sun Devils upset the Huskies 45-38. You kind of said it. You watch Washington, you're like, I don't think they're as good as people think.
No, but I thought they'd win.
Yeah. Well, yes. I know we're surprised by that.
Yeah. So bye-bye, Huskies.
Yeah. Unfortunately for our Arkansas listeners and family members, it wasn't pretty down in Starkville. They had a backup quarterback that was not very good either. Yeah. Mississippi State 40-17.
Yeah. They weren't going in there with a backup and winning. And Leach has got them playing well. I think they go to Kentucky this week. Watch out if Kentucky's quarterback is back. That will be a good game.
Yeah, it'll be a good game. If the quarterback for Kentucky is out, I like Mississippi State again. We'll see what happens. That's can they string together a couple of really nice wins? We'll see. Yeah. Cincinnati, man, this was a scare. They got behind. They were in a little bit of trouble. They do win it though, 28-24. Were they just asleep? What is this Cincinnati team? I still don't know.
I don't know either. I haven't seen them at all. I think it's a classic example of not being ready to play. And South Florida's played some teams fairly close. I think Florida beat them by 1 point or 3. Mm-hmm. So they've got got some players, and Cincinnati didn't show up. So that's basically where we're at.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's go quickly to the NFL.
Real quick. Let me go through our biggest disappointments.
Okay.
Oklahoma's 1, A&M's 2. I think you got to put Utah's number 3 because they were in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Miami, pathetic, 2 and 3. Michigan State, and then don't forget Wisconsin. They're down there is a big disappointment also.
Yeah. I definitely think Wisconsin, they seem like maybe they'll kind of turn it around. I don't know what was going on at Wisconsin. Something had to have been up.
Yeah, right. You better believe it.
All right. NFL, we'll rapid fire that real quick. Raiders or the Chiefs? Get ready to start in about 15 minutes. Who do you like tonight?
How can the Chiefs just don't cover when you think they're going to, though? That's the only thing. I think the Chiefs are going to, I think they'll cover. It's Monday night. It's at home. They're coming off a great game. I don't think the Raiders are real good. I think they cover tonight. I'm going Chiefs.
I'm going with the Chiefs, too. I think they're going to cover that as well. Dennis says Chiefs win, Raiders cover. I mean,
okay.
Dennis, it's hard to say, oh, you're crazy, because that's kind of been a theme for the Chiefs. When they look like they're supposed to win and cover and look really good, they don't do it. So we'll see if they're focused. If the Chiefs team that played in Tampa shows up here, you're going to be wrong, Dennis, but how can you say that team's going to show up for this game?
Oh, you just don't know.
Because you don't have any proof that they can play well 2 weeks in a row. I mean, So we'll see, but I think the Chiefs are going to win and cover. So we'll see what happens. All right. This game, 12-9. I mean, okay. I'll ask you this. Colts beat the Broncos 12-9. It was awful. It was just the worst thing you've ever watched. Bigger problem in Denver, Russell Wilson or Nathaniel Hackett?
Oh, flip a coin.
Samich and I kind of had this argument. He said the coach, I said Wilson. So
I think it's the player. I do. If I had to choose, it would be the player. Yes.
Yeah, I get either side of that argument.
And the thing is, they're losing close games, very low scoring games. If he was playing better, they should be scoring more points, and maybe the coaching wouldn't come into it as much.
That's kind of my rebuttal was, if Wilson could make some basic plays, you probably wouldn't know that this guy's that bad of a coach.
Yeah, exactly.
But since he can't, it comes down to things like that. And it's a bad scene. I don't know what's going to happen. I had Aaron Mattingly. He listens to the show sometimes and lives in Denver, big Denver fan. He's a Denver Bronco fan and an OU Sooner fan, so he's having a hell of a year.
He's in bad shape.
he said what people don't realize, forget about Hackett and Wilson, he said, this is what we've looked like for years, but we haven't been on television.
That's probably
primetime television. He said, this is nothing new for Denver. So
yeah.
All right. The Giants, how about this? They go over to London and they beat the Packers 27-22.
Well, I'm shocked, but they deserved it, and they're pretty good.
Yeah.
They got a running game that's helping out the young quarterback who's playing pretty well now. They improved their offensive line. They did a lot of things to try to help him get some players around him. Their defense has always been okay, and it couldn't happen to a nicer team. Bye-bye, Green Bay. That was funny.
I hate Green Bay, and because of their quarterback. I don't have anything against Green Bay's franchise, but I can't root for that guy, and so
he's kind of a weirdo.
It was kind of funny. JL says the lock for the night: Mahomes 3 passing touchdowns. Yeah, I mean he should if he shows up and says he wants to play. Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Jalen says, would you run the SGP Kelsey anytime touchdown and 80+ receiving yards and Allaire 50+ rushing yards at plus 425?
The running back would be my
hesitation. That's what I would be worried about. Everything else probably looks pretty good. I think Kelsey's going to get a lot of work. Allaire, I'm just not sure about. I'm not sure.
You would think he would get it, but I don't know. They don't run the ball real well.
I'm not sure they think he's their best back anymore either. That's
true.
They kind of rotate him in. So that'd be my one worry. The other stuff, I do kind of like their Jesse. So, all right, let's move on. Steelers and the Bills. This was what we thought. Just domination.
Yeah. Buffalo is really good.
They are good. I think they're the best team right now. Them in Kansas City, probably. Chargers and the Browns. Do you want to rant about this for a minute? Chargers win 30-28. That's the good news.
Well, we've talked about this Chargers coach and the gaffe he pulled yesterday and got away with it is unbelievable. If you didn't see it, they're up 2 with what, about a minute 40 to go?
Minute 14.
Okay, minute 14, and the Browns are out of timeouts, and the Browns are led by Jacoby Brissett, okay? And they were on what, about the 45-yard line, I think? Their own 45. Their own 45. And it was 4th down and 2. He went for it, and they didn't make it. So you give Cleveland the ball where they need to make 1 first down to be in field goal range, which they did. They didn't get much more than that, and the kid missed a 54-yard field goal to win the game. He kicked it far enough, and it barely missed it. I would have fired the Chargers coach immediately. If
I feel like we fired this guy like 8 times in 2 years.
Idiot. He is an idiot. He gets him beat. I mean, that was just stupid. Stupid.
I feel like the Chargers should be just as good as Kansas City. Like they've got the guys to be just as good. Maybe they can't beat them, but they're just as good as them.
Oh, they're good.
And the Chargers are a circus every week.
They are. Well,
last week they almost blew a game and lost to the Texans.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a circus.
You go into Cleveland, they're offensively challenged, right?
Mm-hmm.
You scored 30. You should win by 2 touchdowns against Cleveland.
Yep.
Look at the score, and they should have lost. You go to Houston, you can't score, right?
Yep.
That's the way they are, and there's no reason for it. They have talent. It's all over the field.
It's insane to watch this every week. It's insane. It's crazy.
And I love Herbert. I love to watch him play.
I do too. Justin Herbert's great to watch. JL said maybe the decision was right, but the call was terrible.
No, JL. No.
Okay.
Too big a risk. It's not worth it.
Here's what I'll say. If Tom Brady's on the Browns, go for it.
Well, yeah.
If Aaron Rodgers on the Browns, go for it. If they've got, Mahomes, Allen, you punt when you're playing the Browns.
You have to. JL, had they lost that game, that's all you would have heard today.
Yeah.
That's all that would have been on ESPN all day long. This guy's an idiot. This guy's an idiot. This guy's an idiot.
And they were right. They would be right.
Luckily, they won.
But listen, I seriously, I get it, analytics and blah, blah, blah. You also have to think about who you're playing. You have to.
They had no timeouts. A quarterback that's not very good. You're going to punt them down to about the 10-yard line.
Yeah.
They're going to have to go a long way to beat you. And you know what? If your defense can't stop them, then you just get your ass beat. It's that.
No. And it's not playing scared. It's playing stupid. Because that's how you're going to get beat, giving the Browns a ball at the 45 instead of their own 15.
Okay, JL. Okay, let's look at some of the great. You think Belichick would have went for it there?
No.
You think Andy Reid would have went for it there?
No.
No. None of those guys would have went for it. None of them.
They were playing a great quarterback, yes, but
they can't even spell analytics. They don't know what that shit is because they don't look at it.
Yeah.
The play's dumb. I'll argue with you till I'm blue in the face on that one.
Yeah. Jesse is right. Baltimore, Harbaugh does the same thing. I think he would have went for it.
Yeah, he probably would have.
Yeah. Yep.
So
all right, let's move on. Let's see where are we at. Okay, Vikings 29, Bears 22. Bears made a run at this.
They did. They played well, and another really good win for the Vikings. Look at their record; they're 4-1.
Yeah,
they're playing well.
Yeah, and that's where you're at. In general, you can't. To me, analytics can be used, but you also have to bring in logic at some point. And that's just it. If I'm over there and it's like, okay, analytics say to go for it, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, Jacoby Brissett plays, so just kick it and they'll be fine.
Yeah. JL, listen. Okay. There's a big difference in Jacoby Brissett having to take you 55 yards instead of 10 to beat you. 55-10. I don't need analytics. It's called math.
Well, Dennis is saying math is why they went for it. So we have a clash of math on the show today. So
No, it's anyway. Go on.
this is interesting here, Rob. I'm glad you brought this up. Both Clemson coordinators are bad because Virginia. I've watched Virginia a lot.
Okay, hold on. I got an argument on that one, Rob.
Oh, okay.
The coordinator at Clemson right now looks really damn good. And you know why? They got players.
Okay, but listen, Virginia is terrible, and they weren't last year. Correct?
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
Oklahoma is terrible. And
Rob-
were they good last year? Yeah.
So, okay.
They both have underachieved.
That's a good point. I'm sorry, Rob. I'm sorry. But you're right. But Clemson does have better players than Virginia and Oklahoma. But you make a very good point. So it was Dabo Sweeney then, wasn't it?
Virginia is 2-4. They've lost to Illinois, Syracuse, Duke, and Louisville.
Yeah, that's bad.
And their wins are Richmond and Old Dominion, and they only beat Old Dominion by 2.
Good point.
Last year they went 6-6.
And they weren't bad, and they had a quarterback coming back that was pretty good.
Yes, and he's played. He hasn't been hurt, anything like that. So
it was the offensive coordinator. Very good point, Rob. I have to apologize to you. I'm kind of being a bastard to you, but that is a great point.
Dan Dennis mentioned it earlier. Louisville's got a backup that can win.
That's right. Very good point. And I've always said this. I think the coordinators get too much credit. I've always said this. Used to, you blame the head coach for everything.
Yeah.
And then somebody was stupid and named one guy an offensive coordinator, another one a defensive coordinator. And then I think the head coach decided, okay, I'll do that. I'll take some of the heat off me. So there's no doubt that you've got to have a head coach that is good.
Right.
So
no doubt. No doubt about it.
Yep.
They still run the show.
You bet.
Lions
Big
and
win for the Patriots.
What's that?
Big win for the Patriots.
Big win for the Patriots, yeah. Big win for the Patriots. They beat the Lions. How about the Lions? Best offense in the NFL, get shut out.
Very, very good team.
They're a joke.
Yeah.
This one hurt you, I know. You had the Seahawks +5, Saints 39, Seahawks 32.
As I was telling you, if you'd have told me Seattle's going to score 32, I'd say I got this one in the bag.
They couldn't stop Taysom Hill.
No, maybe not win, but I'm going to cover.
Yeah.
I'm going to look at that. Give up 39. Ridiculous.
They couldn't stop Taysom Hill. They were just running like a quarterback draw with him or quarterback power, and they couldn't stop him.
Ridiculous.
It was crazy.
It is.
Dolphins and the Jets. Well, listen, at 40-17, you go, oh my God, what happened in this game? Well, Bridgewater gets hurt. Skylar Thompson comes in. We've seen Skylar Thompson play in person with Kansas State. He's not any good. The Jets just dominated.
Yeah. And you know what? The Jets aren't bad. They're not too bad. Look at their record. They're getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I took the Jets. Not to win.
No, you did. Yeah, we both said the Jets would cover.
Win.
Yep.
And I would have picked them to win if I'd known Bridgewater was going to get hurt. So
yeah.
I don't know if that's that big an upset.
It's not an upset when you know that they had their third string in.
Absolutely.
No, not at all. Buccaneers 21-15 over the Falcons. They got up 21-0. Falcons came back on them, almost beat them. Kind of actually, if not for a horrific roughing the passer call, the Falcons would have had the ball with a chance.
Yeah. That was not a good call.
What do you think about this Bucs team? I mean, for a while they looked good, and then whew.
Well, they dodged a bullet there. They needed a win. They got it. We'll see how they play this week. They could get going. They look like a train wreck, though. But they're in a terrible division, and they should win that division. So I think they'll make the playoffs. I don't think they're a contender.
Yeah, Dennis is right. The Falcons are 5-0 against the spread.
Yeah,
that's pretty amazing.
Well. They really are.
Yeah, they did cover. Dennis, they're +9, I think, in this game. So
yeah.
And I mean this Tom Brady thing. I mean that was crazy, and that happens a lot, and there's no arguing it. So it was terrible.
Well, let me ask you this: We don't have time. Did that guy, he got a penalty? That Buffalo player got a penalty for hitting the Steelers quarterback on that slide, didn't
I'm
they?
pretty sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Tennessee now back on top of this division that's not very good.
No.
They looked ugly, but they do win. I mean, are they the team to beat in that division now?
Sure they are. They were from day one.
I think they were after they got back to 500. It's like, yeah, they're
just one of those teams. They don't look impressive, but at the end of the year, they got 10 wins. So,
yeah. And they're probably going to do it again. All right. And just to that, the Jaguars beat 13-6 at home to the Texans.
That's bad.
I mean, that's a joke.
A horrible loss.
Yep.
How do you explain it? I mean, it's just they don't know how to win.
No. Nope, they don't. 49ers beat the Panthers 37-15. And the Panthers are without a coach now. They fired their head coach. Matt Rule is out. Where do you think he ends up? I mean, he's going back to college, you would think. Where do you think he's going?
I don't know. We don't know who else is going to be, where it's going to be available. I don't know that he would take a shot at that Nebraska situation or not. He might.
Wisconsin, maybe?
Yeah, he'd fit there. That's a good Wisconsin. I don't think he'd go to Arizona State. I don't think he would. Who else knows? Who knows what else might open up? Auburn? How about Auburn? He might look at that.
Auburn would be interesting. Yeah.
Auburn's one of those situations, though. You recruit the same athletes as Georgia and Florida State and Alabama. And guess what? Alabama and Georgia's kicking their ass in recruiting right now. Oh, throwing Clemson too.
Yeah.
And that's hard to get in there right now. Very rarely is Auburn good when Georgia, Clemson, and Alabama are.
Well, I would not take the Auburn job ever because Alabama's in that state.
You're not going to be at Auburn very long.
No, exactly. Every coach, even coaches that are really successful, they end up firing. So I would not take that job. No. Here's a good question. Are the Commanders the worst team in the league? If not them, who do you think it is?
Pretty close. They're right there for sure. No one's playing any worse than they are.
Let's see. Let's scroll through this.
Houston, maybe. But
I think the Panthers might be.
Yeah, the Panthers are inept.
I would say
Steelers.
This team right here, the Steelers.
I think they're the worst.
Bad.
Yeah.
They're right up there. They're top 3 or 4, I'd say. Panthers, they might be able to beat. Steelers, maybe. But all right, let's keep on going. Rams get beat. Cowboys 22-10. Cowboys now 4-1. They've won 4 in a row with Cooper Rush. Dak is coming back. Do you think that's going to be problematic?
I don't think I would play him until Rush got beat. Why do you tamper with something? They got great chemistry going. He's playing well. They're making plays. Their defense is really good. And no, I wouldn't upset it. I'd say, hey, Dak, get good and healed up. We're going to need you down the stretch, probably. So, man, I don't know. It's tough.
I'm with Dennis. I'm sticking with the hot hand.
Yeah, he's playing great. And the team looks great. They're really playing solid. Now, I think the Rams have some issues. Offensively, they're not very good.
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row, they've got manhandled.
Yeah. So, they've got offensive line problems.
Yeah. They do.
All right, a couple more here. We'll get out of here for the kickoff of the game. Eagles and the Cardinals. Eagles win 20-17. Cardinals miss a field goal late. Had all kinds of stupid shit they did late, like always.
Yep.
Eagles, now they're still the only undefeated team, now 5-0. But, when the Cardinals played some other teams that were really good, they kind of got blown out. This was close.
Yeah.
I don't know about these Eagles. I'm still thinking they're a little overrated.
I think they are, but I also think it was a very good win for them.
Yeah.
I thought they might lose this one. I think they're just waiting to get beat. Russ is right. Their schedule is very easy. The AFC or the NFC East is a combined 14-6. They have the best record of any division in football right now.
The poor Giants are 4-1, and they can't even really enjoy it.
No. Well, they got the Eagles 4-1 or 5-0, and the Giants and Cowboys are both 4-1. They have 3 of the best records of anybody in the NFL. So
We're gonna save the Blues talk for Thursday. We'll do that on Thursday
that's right.
because we don't play till Saturday. I don't think. So.
Isn't that dumb?
It is dumb. I had to do a triple take. So
we'll probably play 4 games in 5 days. Probably. That's
I know.
Never saw.
All right, final one: Ravens 19, Bengals 17. The Ravens had to win this game. Period.
Yeah,
they did it. It wasn't very impressive. I don't know. I don't know if either one of these teams are really any good. Honestly.
I don't think they're great, but I thought it was a very gutty win for them.
Yeah.
Cincinnati scored late to take the lead, and these are games Baltimore loses, and they came back and pulled it out. So I think that's a really good win for them. The Bengals tried everything they could to run that clock down. They just had too much time on that last drive. They couldn't run off all the clock.
Yeah. It was a kind of a fun game to watch. The Ravens, they just seem like they're underachieving. They should be better than this, I feel like.
I think so. I don't think they're great though.
Yeah. Who do you think's the best? Do you think the Bills are the best team?
Bills are the Chiefs,
Yeah.
I think the Bills overall are the best team right now. And they play the Chiefs next week.
Yeah, so that'll be a big game. 3 o'clock. A couple of horse racing questions I'll answer before we get off the air. Rodney wants to know, and Rodney, you're his biggest fan, so it doesn't surprise me. If Jack Christopher's running in the sprint or the mile. I don't know the answer. I've heard the mile is where they're leaning. I personally would run him in the sprint, but I think they're a little bit worried about, Jackie's Warrior, where if you run him in the mile, it's like, yeah, he's probably better than the rest of those. So not sure. We'll see. We'll see on that. But I've heard mile is where they're leaning at this moment. So, and then Dennis asked, how many Breeders' Cup winners did we see last weekend? Nest is 1. And if not Nest, it'll be Malathot. So still 1. Cave Rock, 2. We probably, I'm not going to say that actually. Sprint, the juvenile turf sprint winner, maybe. I don't know who it's going to be. But probably ran last weekend. I'll say 3.
Nest ain't losing.
Nest is not losing. Oh shit! Warlike Goddess pending. Best horse we've got, but I don't know what's coming over. So it depends on what Euros come over. But she was great. She will destroy all of our American horses. Yeah, I would say 3, but it's hard. That's a hard question without really thinking. But I think 3.
You know what?
That's not great.
I don't think Jackie's Warrior can beat Jack Christopher.
I think Jack Christopher will beat him. Yeah, I agree.
He's starting to show a little age.
Yeah. He should have won that last race. Cody's Wish is good, but he still should have won it. Yeah. I'd put Jack Christopher 6 furlongs. He's going to be tough. Listen, this Forte horse, he ran great. He's the prettiest horse I've seen on a screen in a long time. I cannot wait to see him in person.
He is good.
Yeah. He is beautiful. Now I think Cave Rock will beat him, but
who's got him? Who's got Forte?
Pletcher.
Fletcher?
Yeah. He's beautiful. Big time horse, or big built horse. So Loggins, Dennis, I thought Loggins probably ran the better of the 2 races. That's just a really, really tough trip for a horse that's young, making first stakes race. And
you bet. That horse, Forte had experience.
Had experience, and he probably, much I hate to say it, Forte probably should have came down. And I made a lot of money on Forte, but I don't know. Explain the Breeders' Cup location rotation, if there is one. There really isn't a rotation. It's just kind of every year it gets awarded somewhere different. So Keeneland got it this year because they had it in 2020, and with COVID, nobody could come. So they got it back very quickly. You can usually count on Keeneland, Churchill, Santa Anita, or Del Mar having it. So that's that. All right. You got anything else?
No, unless you want a question.
Give me one. It's going to
Okay.
be quick.
This is a goofy one. This is for Dennis.
Oh, for Dennis. Oh, my God.
You might like this one. If you could have one cartoon character
Oh,
be your best friend, who would it be? I'm sure Dennis watches cartoons. He should have this one. He should nail this one.
by the way, thank you, Marla. That's very, very nice. I'm happy. I'm happy that.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, really appreciate that. Okay, Dennis, one cartoon character to be your best friend. Can I answer it too, or just Dennis?
Oh no, it's for both of you. I meant that in all love for Dennis. I wasn't mad of him. I just figured he liked cartoons.
Foghorn Leghorn. Oh, that's a good one.
Oh yeah, this is pretty good, Jace.
Good one. Tom and Jerry. I like that.
No, not me.
I
got one. Go ahead. No, you're first. You're not thinking.
I'm not thinking.
I thought you'd get mine.
Well, I don't know.
I'm not a cartoon fan at all.
Captain Crunch. Yeah, there you go. Probably. I'd probably say maybe. Gosh. Elmer Fudd. I thought about that one, Jesse. Woody Woodpecker would be mine.
Woody be great. Yeah.
I love Woody.
Woody's funny.
Yeah. Woody Woodpecker would be mine.
I'm going Bugs Bunny.
Oh, Bugs Bunny would be good.
Yeah, he's a smart ass. I think he'd be kind of cool to have.
Yeah. The Roadrunner would be funny too.
I like the Roadrunner, but I like Coyote better.
Coyote.
I feel sorry for him. A Foghorn Leghorn is fantastic. That is really good.
That is funny. Elmer Fudd's kind of funny too.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bugs Bunny. Boo Boo Bear. Oh my God. Yes.
Oh, buddy boo boo.
I like Boo Boo Bear.
He's too goofy. He's docile. You know what? I never did like Mickey Mouse.
No. Piss on Mickey Mouse. I don't like Mickey Mouse.
Bugs Bunny, he'd be fun. You never know what old Bugs is going to do.
No. Same with Woody Woodpecker. He's funny.
He's really good. I always loved Donald Duck.
Yeah, he's cool. What about Goofy?
No, that's what he is. He's just goofy.
Yeah, but he'd be fun to have around.
Friend, you could push him around.
Yeah, exactly.
You can get him to do anything for you.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, he'd be pretty good. He'd get him to do anything.
And after all, that's why we have friends, right? To get him to do anything.
Yeah. What's his name? Barney Rubble on the Flintstones. You could get Barney to do anything.
Barney, yeah, that'd be good. Yeah. That'd be good. SpongeBob, nah, piss on SpongeBob.
He's kind of funny.
He's funny, but he's kind of, I don't know. He's kind of mean. I don't like him. Yosemite Sam.
Is he the one that says suffering? No, that's not him, is it?
No.
Oh, that's Sylvester the cat, isn't it?
Yeah.
Succotash, yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go. SpongeBob for Dennis, too. So,
well, that's a terrible.
I don't know. I always thought he was kind of a jerk. Is he not?
I never watched it that much.
I haven't watched it that much either. What about Popeye?
Well, I was going to say Popeye. You'd have to eat spinach if you're around him.
Yeah.
Daffy Duck's pretty good.
Daffy Duck. I like Daffy Duck.
You know, Daffy and Bugs and Yosemite Sam, Foghorn, they were all Looney Tunes. Yep. And they were that was. How about Bullwinkle? He's pretty good.
Bullwinkle, yes. He's
another one you can make him do anything.
Rob,
I thought that was
Rob had to pause the show, and he's talking about horses still, and he's going to get a big surprise when that comment pops up when he's watching live, and it's and we're talking about cartoon characters. We're way gone, Russ. Rob. Looney Tunes, yes, that's the real cartoons.
They really are good. They really are.
Meg from Hercules.
I don't know that one. How about Underdog? He was pretty cool.
Underdog, yeah, he's all right.
Squirrel.
Underdog. Yeah, underdog's kind of.
Have no fear. Underdog is here.
Yeah, he's kind of egotistical. I don't like him.
Oh God.
What about? Did anybody say Bullwinkle? Rocky and
I
Bullwinkle.
did.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, he's kind of goofy though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rocky.
Homer Simpson. That's pretty good. Well, if we're getting into that, I would want to hang out with the South Park guys. So.
Yeah, I don't classify those as cartoons, really.
No, I don't either.
Those are sitcoms.
But definitely Butters. That would be who I'd want to be a friend with. Oh man, yeah. Good question.
Yeah.
What about Deputy Dog? I hear women find him very sexy. Really, Deputy Dog?
Yeah, I remember him a little bit. Not much.
Pinky in the Brain. That reminds me of like Ren and Stimpy too. Like, those are not real.
How about Beavis and Butthead?
Beavis and Butthead. Okay, no, that's not what the point.
No, I know those are no.
No.
I wouldn't be friends with either one of them anyway.
No, they're idiots. Yeah. Okay, that's it.
One quickie.
Oh gosh. All right.
Like 2 seconds.
Okay.
If you were going to go on a diet, what food would be the hardest for you to give up?
Pizza.
Can you not eat pizza when? I guess you can't when you're on a diet, can you?
Well, I don't know. Like, what's an example of something else? Like,
okay, when I went on a diet one time, the most I had trouble with was chips.
well, that'd be yeah. I got you.
I can't give up chips. I just couldn't do it. Sweets, I don't have a problem with. I can give those up because I like them. Yeah, based on what I did, this was serious. What I would do, I went on that Slim Fast diet back when Slim Fast was big. I don't even know if they still make it now. And you could eat 12 potato chips a day. 12. So I'd go get the potato chip bag and pull the 12 biggest chips out of the bag and then slice them up into fours to where now you're eating like 48 instead of 12.
You know what's weird? Not weird, but kind of just kind of funny is Jason and I talked about this. You may not remember it, but I cut chips out, and it really didn't bother me.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not saying I never have them, but I don't have them very
You
often.
don't eat them anymore.
Mm-mm.
Wow.
We talked about that at Saratoga, Jason. You probably don't remember.
Can't do that. I've got to where I eat sun chips.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like sun chips.
No.
And I've got to where I eat those some because they're better for you. Give me a bag of potato chips, I'm in heaven. So
yeah, but it's food I just could not live without is pizza. I love it.
You really like it that well? I didn't know you did.
Couldn't live without it.
I thought you would have said a hamburger.
Well, maybe, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I eat. I eat chicken strips, pizza, and hamburgers. That's it.
Yeah, that's what you live on. So
right. So
but I can eat candy bars. That doesn't bother me. Ice cream does. I can give it up.
Yeah, I don't eat a lot of that.
Anything chocolate, I can give it up. Now cookies, struggle a little bit.
Yep. Oh, Cool Ranch Doritos are amazing. Yeah. Oh man. Oh,
hard with the crack. I wouldn't know about that.
Are you telling me? Oh wow, the Raiders have taken the lead 6-0 in Kansas City.
All right, we got to go.
All right. Okay. Write down this next week. If you had your favorite potato chip, what kind? And also what kind of soda? Okay. Yep. Next week.
Favorite potato chip. Favorite chip. Are we going to say chip or potato chip?
Either one. Doesn't matter. No, just say chip because that could be anything.
And soda.
Yep.
Right? Got it. All right, Dennis. We got it.
We're going to do it. Ooh, tacos. Yeah, I like tacos. We're very funny in this house. We do tacos on Tuesday.
That's right.
All right, we're gonna get out of here, guys. As always, thank you, and a special thank you this week, this Monday, I should say, this show, for letting us rant for the first 30 minutes of the show on OU. Hopefully, you didn't hate it, but we had to get that out, and I wanted that out on the internet for people to see. So, all right, guys, get out. We'll see you Thursday.
This is Dudes Who Bet Sports. Dudes Who Bet Sports, it's your favorite show. Dudes Who Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Dudes Who Bet Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Haldeman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.